Welcome to the show. Happy Tuesday. Fa la 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 la. We are here. We are live. We got a big show lined up for you on this fabulous rainy Tuesday here in the great state of Wisconsin. Thank you for being a part of the show. Wherever you are joining us, make sure you let us know where you are, how you're doing, how things have been in your life via the comments in all of the places that we are streaming live on. Whether that's on Facebook Live, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's on Twitch, those three places. Jump in the comments, wherever they may be. Joe's in the house. Doing it up, Joe. Always a pleasure to see you, man. Always a pleasure. How about that conversation yesterday? Huh? Oh, man. Great feedback. Great feedback from yesterday's show with Sean Whalen. If you missed any of the video, it's up on YouTube. It's up on Twitch, and I believe it's still living on the Facebook page. So go watch that shit. The Sean interview starts about 45 minutes in, so jump on there, and it was just fantastic. Actually, thanks to him, got that The Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz book. Got it today. Going to read it. Recommended by Sean and Saxony, his wife. Got to read his book. I got to come in too. I think that comes tomorrow. I want to say, check him out on Amazon. The Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz book looks like that. Go get it. Go learn yourself some shit. It'll be great. By the way, we're going to be posting the audio only version of the interview with Sean Whalen from yesterday on our Patreon. So please go and follow us on Patreon. Go and join Patreon. We're going to put that audio exclusively up on there so you can go and listen to it at your leisure. That was an amazing show. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for tuning in. That was great yesterday with Sean. Get the book. I'm not even getting paid to tell you to get this book, but get this book. On the show today, very excited for today's show. All the way from Scotland, Kevin McGuire, Scottish country artist, going to join the show in just a couple of minutes. Excited to talk to Kevin. I'm always fascinated about the music scene in other countries. You know, we had Brandon Z on, who was up from Toronto, and I was like, what's the country vibe like in Toronto? You don't think of it. He's like, it's fucking huge, man. So excited. And then talking to Kevin McGuire, like, what's the country scene like in Scotland? I want to know. I gotta find out. I gotta know what's going on. So he's coming up in just a couple of minutes. So look for that. Later on in the show, coming up at about 10 minutes to 6, we'll be joined by a Powerman 5000 guitarist and the mind behind Ray Gun Romance. Ty Oliver is going to be on the program. That's coming up a little bit later on today. So fantastic day of guests today. We got a big week of guests. I mean, what a way to kick it off yesterday with Sean Whalen. I had people who had never watched the show before, like tuned in, and they were like, damn, like, ooh, he gets you all rowdy. Like, if you want to go out and flip tires and stuff after you talk to him. I didn't, but it made me think about it. We had a lot of new first-time viewers of the show last night for Sean, and it perpetuates itself into a big week, of course, with Kevin and Ty tonight. We got Michael DePizzo tomorrow from Sunflower Dead. We got the Ladies in the Band Plush coming up on Thursday. So we have a big week lined up this week for guests. Hopefully you can be a part of each and every one of those shows. So jump on board. You know where to find us every single weekday between 5 and kind of whenever we get set to wrap up things around. Yeah. Big thanks always to Blake Allison and Joey Walzer, my guys from Devour the Day and Egypt Central, putting together the intro for the show. I had a great conversation with them today, and we're going to be working on some really cool stuff, rebranding the logo for the show. I've kind of talked about that, new intro videos, a whole bunch of other cool interactive stuff, and they're getting ready to launch Ready Wave. So if you're a streamer, hit me up in the DMs of any of the platforms. If you're doing any live streaming, I'll set you up with those guys. They have some really cool stuff coming through, because it's really tough to get high quality license free music to play on your stream, because if you play licensed music on your stream, they shut it down. So they have cool stuff available very soon. K. Wayne Thornley in the house. Kevin Rocks. Yeah. Can't wait to talk to him. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to the Scottish country singer. He's Scottish. I'm Irish. Both like country. So it'll be cool. Again, he's coming up in just a couple of minutes. So we have a lot to talk about. Today. June 1st. They've announced June 1st, and you know how much I love talking about aliens, Aliens, my jam. Aliens, music, motivational stuff, flipping tires, all that stuff. June 1st is supposedly the day that the Pentagon is going to release a whole bunch of new documents about unidentified flying objects. This was a part of that stimulus package that came out late last year. That was the $600 check. That saved us all. Woo! I think I'm still waiting for mine. Have I? No, I haven't gotten it yet. But as an addendum to that legislation, it was the Pentagon agrees to release all these documents about unidentified flying objects within a certain amount of time, 180 days, I believe it was, which apparently is June 1st. Because there's a bunch of experts coming out, this ex-UFO Pentagon program chief coming out saying, when this stuff comes out, your mind's going to be freaking blown. Unexplainable, no idea, breaking the sound barrier with no sonic boom, just like crazy cool alien stuff. Told you they were real. Now maybe you'll get some confirmation. And yet nobody's really worried. Maybe that's a good thing. There hasn't been a good alien attack movie in a long time. Maybe we feel really safe. That if they're just observing. What did Sean say last night? They're just up there watching us going, what a bunch of dumbasses. Like, oh, yeah, that's us. That's us down here. Can you see us now? No, you can't. It's wild, though. So June 1st is the day. If you're into aliens, just keep an eye out on your news feed or, follow guys like Bob Lazar and see what his 2 cents are. Bob Lazar was the guy from S4, Area 51, big story from the late 70s? Yeah, and just crazy stuff. Bob Lazar, there's a documentary that's out on Netflix that he was a part of from a couple of years ago. But the Bob Lazar story, go check that out. It's a great one. Joe, hey, no. Yeah, nobody's complaining. Nobody's complaining with that. But that was exciting that came out today. There's a lot of bullshit that came out today, a lot of crazy stuff. The world's kind of in a worldly place. See, I scan through all the news stories on a daily basis, and I'm like, oh, God, doom and gloom, and president's falling downstairs again, and aliens. Let me read that story. That always gets my attention, because otherwise it all just kind of blends together, because it's all the same headline, kind of wrapped up in different context. And I'm like, I don't really want to read that. I will, but I don't want to. But the alien thing, that's pretty big. Couple different stories that headline that over the course of the last 24-hour news cycle. So that's fun. And you just if you don't believe, like, what is it a biblical thing? Like, we already disproven we're not the center of the universe. Like, we got that. That part's okay. Like, we got that. I can't. It blows my mind that there are still non-believers. I don't need necessarily to have seen it for myself to go, I'm not a math guy, but given the abundance of space in the universe, I'm going to have to say there's probably a good chance that we're going to have some other existences somewhere around here. K. Wayne Thornley, I wish they'd beam me up, right? Beam me up, Scotty. I wish they would just take me home. I'm kidding. I'm not really an alien. Be weird, though, right? What if they are living among us, like total Men in Black style? Like random people, they're just like, yeah, they're a little strange, but it's cool. And you find out they're really aliens. That would be wild. That people would freak out about. I think the fact they're just flying around above us, observing, maybe grabbing a couple for some tests, just a couple here and there. Travis Walton. Boom. Just checking it out. Other than that, they're just observing. There's great analogies. Some people think different, I shouldn't say analogies, but like theories, and they use analogies to kind of simplify their theories, that we're like a giant anthill, and the aliens just, they come and visit. Like if you find a giant anthill, you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. You don't really fuck with it. You just kind of look at it like, huh, that's cool. Weird how that works. Like it feels like, or the theory was that we're like the anthill and the aliens are like the humans that just like look down and observe. That's weird. They're doing weird things. It's a theory. Or the aliens are just us from the future that are coming back because they've developed that technology. They just like, we've abandoned the planet. We live in X07041, somewhere outside of the whatever galaxy. They just come back to visit, back in time. Look at how stupid we were back when we were wearing masks and had mouths. It was a weird time. Look at us now, communicating through ESP and stuff. But I'm looking forward to the aliens coming. I'm just saying, just trying to make a statement. June 1st, we'll have more news about the aliens thanks to the Pentagon. Just weird though, right? As Joe got to say here, Joe says they're just laughing at us. I think so. If you see an alien craft hovering over, they're probably not going to beam you up as much as you may want them to. They're probably just laughing. Like, we're so smart up here. Look at those silly little two-legged creatures running around on planet Earth. Meanwhile, they're flying through space. Good stuff, though. June 1st, look forward to that, as the Pentagon is now going to be releasing a bunch of the UFO files that were previously confidential. Yeah. I see Kevin McGuire is in the green room. He's ready to join the program. It's like late there. It's probably past his bedtime, but we're keeping him up late so he can come and hang out and talk with us. Kevin McGuire on the program. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, man. I cannot hear you. I can't hear any sound from this broadcast. Give me 1 second.
Probably some weird setting somewhere.
1 second. It might just be a setting on here. I don't do a lot of live streams, as you can probably tell. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Me? Yeah.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear anything at all.
It's probably the internet. The internet's playing tricks on us. Let me
Give me 1 sec. Let me are you able to take me out and then just let me
I'll take you out and we'll put you back in when it's time. He's working on his audio. Going to jump back out, join back in. This is the magic of live radio and live TV. It's neither one of those things. It's a live stream. But he's going to check out why that's not working. It's probably an audio setting, right? We've had that happen before. Yeah, it's the pond, man. It's the pond. He's over on the other side of the pond. It's probably that. It takes a long time for sound to travel from here to there, even on the internet. But Kevin McGuire going to join us. We'll talk about his new single, "Seeing Things," which is fantastic. If you haven't checked out that song yet, take a listen to it. Maybe while he's getting his stuff ready, and tell me you don't hear. And I'll bring this up to him. And my buddy Mike, he brought this up to me because he listened to it today. He's like, if that doesn't sound like early Keith Urban, I don't know what does. And I listened to it again. I'm like, damn, yeah, you're right, dude. He's got a Keith Urban sound to him, even like the texture of his voice, but also like the music. And I'm gonna drop that bomb on him, see if he's heard that before. But he sounds like early Keith Urban. And if you know Keith Urban, his career and personal life, he's done well for himself. See, K. Wayne Thornley knows. Does he not sound like Keith Urban? He's got a Keith Urban thing going on. And it's not just because they both have accents, because obviously they're different accents. But it's just there's something in the voice. Something. It's there. It's not a bad person to be compared to. Keith Urban. I got a Keith Urban vibe to him. So if you haven't listened to Kevin yet, Kevin McGuire, go and check out "Seeing Things," his latest single. It's available on all streaming platforms. It's on Amazon Music. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Tune or iTunes. It's not even iTunes. Apple Music now. Keep changing shit. Like, just keep it the same, man. I'm old. Just keep me in the lane. But it is very cool stuff. And again, I like talking to people from other countries about the music scene there. It fascinates me because I like to see how you like what is the vibe like. Obviously here in the States we know like Nashville is obviously a hub for a certain sound, even though that's expanded like to all genres now. Nashville has become a hub for all genres. But LA has a sound, New York has a sound. If you go into hip hop, like the coasts have a sound, North and South has a sound. So like, what's it like? What's it like in Scotland? What's the country scene like? Like who did you grow up listening to? Is it Garth? It's Garth because Garth transcends, right? Garth transcends continents. It's crazy. I remember watching that Garth documentary when Garth went over and did all those shows overseas. Like the first time he'd ever gone and done a tour overseas, not knowing what to expect. Because you're traveling from a place like the United States and you're going overseas to a place where you don't know how they feel about you. And he goes over to, I think he did Ireland and Scotland and maybe a couple of England shows and like sold out. It was crazy. And he's like, oh, I guess we're global now. So it fascinates me. It fascinates me. And who I'll ask? I'll ask somebody who lives in Scotland, like Kevin McGuire, who is here now. And I'll figure it out. How you doing, my friend?
How we do, man? Sorry about that. I don't do a lot of live streams, as you can probably tell. And for some reason, my MacBook, which I've had for 8 years, just decided to cut all sound for no reason whatsoever. So,
just because they knew you were doing your very rare live stream, they were like, "Yeah, we're going to make it today."
Literally, just because of that. So I'm on another device now, so we're all good.
Awesome. Well, first off, thank you for joining us. I know it's late over there, and you're in Scotland. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm in Scotland. Yeah, it's cool, man. I've been doing so many like Skype calls and Zooms with people over in the United States recently, so it doesn't really feel anything different. And to be honest, we've not been able to do anything over here in such a long time, like in person with people. So I've just got used to seeing people on a screen.
It has become kind of second nature. I was originally, before the whole pandemic started, I was just doing a podcast. So I was recording audio, and it was either people in studio or even if I was using like a application like this or Zoom. Yeah, I still could go out and see people, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, we can't do that anymore. So let's make a live stream and let's do it every single day and get fantastic artists like you on here. So
thank you so much.
I want to talk to you about first. I want to talk about your sound. Then I'm going to take you back in time to when music first influenced you to make this into something you wanted to pursue professionally. So sure. Obviously I'm plugging the show, and I put the new single. I tagged that on some of the posts that we put out to let people know you were coming. And I had at least 2 people that said, "Holy shit, this guy sounds like a young Keith Urban." Like,
oh mate.
It was, and I'd listened to the song and I listened to it and I just with a casual ear, and I was like, I didn't really grab that at first. I went back and listened to it, and dude, you got this Keith Urban thing like going on, which is not a bad comparison to have on your name.
Nah, man, thank you very much. Do you know what? Like, I don't even mean this in a big-headed way at all, because I've never ever compared myself to Keith Urban, but in the last like 3 or 4 weeks, I've honestly had about 9 or 10 people say the same thing. But I genuinely, it was something that never ever crossed my mind until someone had said it to me. Like, I love Keith Urban. I absolutely adore his voice. I can't really hear the similarities between it. But I don't know whether maybe it's because like both of us are obviously not from the States. Keith's from Australia. Yeah. Maybe we both have a kind of country twang that people recognize isn't from the United States. I don't know, but Keith Urban's amazing. So any compliments like that, like, thank you so much.
And I think it's more than I think the accent does have like a minute part to do with it, but I think the fact that he has got a textured sound. And it's very unique to him. And I'm not saying like I put, you guys are in the same room and I'm like, which one of you guys is Keith Urban? Oh, it's I can tell who the Aussie is. Yeah. I can tell who the Scotsman is. Okay. I got that figured out at face value, but I think it's just something about your delivery and the texture of your voice. And then the music. I mean, the song is fantastic. And I can hear this song being played on country radio here in the States. That's how good I think it is. And I hope somehow maybe through this podcast or through this live stream, we can facilitate some of that, but it's an amazing song. Tell me about going through the process of getting this out, especially during not only the pandemic, but over there, even though you guys have even stricter restrictions than we do.
Yeah, man. Like in the UK, like we've got the worst death toll for any but like by for any sort of small country in the world. So it's like it's not good. We've not really been open for like the last time I played a show was over a year ago now.
Oof.
So it's it's honestly been that long. We've been in total lockdown since we were in lockdown last year, and then since Christmas we've been in total lockdown. Like the most we can do is meet one other friend outside, to
Mhm.
go for exercise. That's it. So it's been difficult. But I mean, I'll take you right back to the start. I wrote this last year during the first lockdown with an amazing Nashville writer called Mason Thornley, who I've known now for a couple of years. He just found me on Instagram and liked the song that I had out at the time, and he just got in touch saying, "Do you want to write?" And he's published over there. So we've written a few songs together. He is an incredible writer, and we wrote it. I think it was last April or May.
Mm.
I was having a really shit day at the time, and
Mm.
so I was in the mood to write something that was a little bit emotional, a little bit sad, and got some anger and some feelings out. So that's where that really came from. And then I already had a single ready to come out at the end of May, and a couple of acoustic things to come out at the end of the year. But I really didn't want to start 2021 without putting something out there that I thought could really try and do something and show people what we can do. So we made the decision in December that we wanted this track to come out sort of, late February, because no one really does anything over January, particularly in the music industry. Like trying to get people's attention is really, really difficult. So we took some time out, got the track ready, got the photos ready. I ended up doing a lyric video for it, which was totally unplanned. And yeah, we just put it out, and I'm just trying to do as much as possible. Like I'm so grateful that you've asked me on this show today, because anyone that I can talk to and anyone that I can tell about the single who won't have heard it already, I'm totally up for doing that and really grateful for the opportunity.
Well, I'm thankful that you responded to my outcry. It's one of those things that's been a blessing, during all this is being able to discover artists and music that typically you wouldn't be able to discover. I think a lot of people have noticed that during this time is that
Yeah,
outside of your typical ways of finding music, whether that's on the radio, whether that's your buddy tells you about, hey, have you heard this song? Utilizing social media, and I think you've done a fantastic job of that, and doing some strategic planning of how you get your music to find an ear like mine. And it's just a clip of the song, and you scroll down and you go, oh, what's that? Like it sends me personally, and hopefully a lot of other fans as well that are looking for music. It sends you into, you enter the rabbit hole of Kevin McGuire. You're like, I wonder what this guy is all about, because you don't, in the ad, it doesn't say like, anything about you being from Scotland, but you open up your page, it's like, Scottish boys, singing country music. And I'm like, this fella's interesting. Like these are two things I don't really correlate together. And then, I kind of fell down even further into the rabbit hole, discovering more of your music and your story, and reached out and wanted to get a hold of you. But I think you've really done a great job of utilizing during a time when you can't do much else as far as
yeah.
getting out and playing a show. But you utilize social media in a way to at least try to engage with your current fans, and then also to expand your fan base. Tell me about utilizing these platforms to at least keep some momentum going, not only with the single, but with your career.
Yeah, man, it's a really interesting point that you're saying about utilizing social media, because I remember a year ago when we went into lockdown, the whole industry was like, "Oh my god, like that's it, we can't put music out." The thought of putting a single out without doing some sort of radio, live performances on radio, touring with the song, playing it at festivals, it's kind of already cut off like half of what people thought was their strongest promotion tool.
Mm.
Whereas for me, like I thought about it a lot, and I spoke to my manager, and it was just like, look, you know what? I wasn't getting on the biggest festivals last year. I couldn't compete with the biggest country music artists, even in the UK. So what it did was it actually put us all on a level playing field. There was no festivals happening. There was no shows. There was no tours that I was missing out on. It's like, who can create the best music from their bedroom, and who can shoot videos, who can do their own photos. And it's going to come down to that. And it's kind of made me realize that I don't have to just be in front of people in the UK at shows. If I want to reach people in Nashville, I can just use the hashtag Nashville or look at the places, go to the place option on Instagram, and there's my audience there. Doesn't matter where I'm from. And over 50% of the people following me on Instagram now are all from the United States. So it really has opened my eyes to the different platforms that we now have as music artists. And yeah, social media is something that I wouldn't say I take pride in, but I know how useful it is a tool. I do all my own videos on there. All the photos that I put up, I've graded them all. I've kind of directed most of them, and the brand is something that I've kind of had in my head for a while now. And maybe if this sort of lockdown thing didn't happen, I wouldn't have learned how to grade photos. I wouldn't have learned how to do videos. I wouldn't really have, like, the stack of content that I had ready to go out with. With this single, has just been something that I've never ever had before. Just the different video clips and the different artworks, and just all that kind of stuff, and just talking about it. And I wouldn't have thought of that before. So it's definitely opened my eyes. There's much more ways of promoting music than just turning up to a show and playing to a bunch of people in the corner who might not be interested in listening to you.
I think you hit on two really good points there. One is that social media is a tool in the toolbox of a musician's career. It's part of the things that you can utilize to expand your fan base. Obviously, for you who's trying to get some recognition in a place like Nashville, you can target that audience, and obviously
yeah.
they're thirsty for music and for new sounds. But you also utilize the time that would have been on the road, or would have been doing shows, would have been getting on festivals and playing in front of people, utilizing that time to discover new talents that when things do open back up, when you are out and able to go and do stuff, that is just an addition to your arsenal. It becomes the more things that you can do, whether it's, hey, you're at a festival and you want to, do some video behind stage, or, before we go up, hey, here's what we do. We, maybe you have a pre-show ritual that you want to capture and you can utilize that. So I think there's so many great stories like that about, well, yeah, it sucks. We can't do the things that we're accustomed to doing and that we planned on doing, and we don't know when we can do it again.
Yeah.
Some artists can go, well, I guess we'll just kind of hang out then, and we'll watch Netflix and chill and whatever. Or you can develop a new skill set and then put that into use, not only now but in the future when things are a little bit more pliable.
Yeah, man. Honestly, like you everything you're saying there is just exactly the way that I've been feeling and exactly what I've been thinking. And the other thing is, it's going to save me a lot of money as well in future. I don't need someone to do. Obviously, I need somebody behind the camera, right? If I'm doing videos, and the people I've worked with behind the camera are incredible. They really are. So I'm absolutely taking nothing away from them. But the price between getting someone to just shoot some footage for you, or getting someone to shoot the footage and put an entire music video together for you, that's like, the difference between $1,000, if you want to call it that, so being able to do that kind of stuff, photos, everything, it's going to save me a lot of money. And I'm going to start telling people that I can do that, and if someone else wants to come to me for photos and videos, and then I'll be happy to do that for them as well. So it's honestly been about taking control of everything, and realizing that you can't rely on other people and other things to just happen. If that's all you had at the end of the day, you need to run with it. And as you said, it would have been so easy to just put my feet up, like a lot of people did. And I know that. I can see that. I'm not gonna kid myself on and pretend that everyone's been working this hard, because they've not. And I think the people that have worked hard in the last sort of 12 months are seeing the benefits of it now. I've also been super, super lucky that I've got sort of a recording set up behind me, and the producer that I work with, Andy, he's in the south of England. He is so talented, and he's got an entire studio in his home. My manager just lives 10 minutes along the road from me, and he's actually normally out on tour as an artist. So to have him there as well, that I wouldn't normally have had through this whole time. So there's been massive benefits to it. I realize I've just rambled on there, so I hope I wasn't talking rubbish, but
no, it all makes sense. I think it's utilizing what you have at your disposal and continuing to work. That's the most important thing, is not taking the foot off of the gas pedal, even though there's been some things that have put some blockades in the road, but you kind of bust through them with different different things. We got some comments I want to get up here. We got my buddy Joe was on saying he does sound like Keith Urban. So you got another Keith Urban follower there from Joe. K. Wayne Thorling, listen up, Nashville. That's what I'm telling him too. Listen up, Nashville. And then Jessica Sanchez loves your music, so she got some of your fans, which is very cool. I want to take you back to a wee lad in Scotland and how, because for us here in the States, obviously we know Nashville, we know it's the mecca of country music, and even more so, in today's day and age, it's really expanded to be a musical hub for all. I mean, country, blues, alt country, rock and roll. I mean, it's really become this hot spot for music in the States. So we just know that it's here. We know where that Nashville sound comes from, and that's where you talk to artists that are from the States. They make the pilgrimage to Nashville, and so we contextually we don't think of it outside of our borders really. We see big artists like I was talking about before you jump back on, like when Garth went over in the late 90s, I think, went over and did like 10 dates in Europe, and was like, I have no idea what to expect because we don't, again, we're just thinking in the confines of the borders. He goes over there and like, these people are just going crazy and singing every song. So you go, oh my gosh, this music is transcending, overseas. So what is the, for you growing up, like who are the artists? Are there UK artists or is a lot of influx from the States? Like who influenced you as a youngster to go, this is the music I enjoy, and this is something I want to, hone in on it and make it my own?
It's a good question. I didn't grow up around country music really, in country pop music and that sort of thing. I was kind of the only person at my school that listened to it. But I kind of fell in love with country music really through Rascal Flatts. They're like my all-time favorite band, and I used to come home from school, even when I was just like 13, 14, and kind of illegally download. Just the kind of, I just look up what the top country songs were like in the US Billboard country chart and just download them, and it kind of made me feel, I don't know, because no one else really knew the kind of stuff over here, because country pop music just didn't exist over here. It made me feel a bit special, and it made me feel like it was kind of my own little world, and that's kind of how I got into it. And I fell in love with artists like Rascal Flatts, Josh Turner, Taylor Swift. Way before she was anywhere near as big as she was now. So that's how that happened. And more recently, over the last few years, we've kind of had our first sort of country artists in the UK who are signed to major labels. That wasn't really a thing, more than 5 or 6 years ago. But now it's just starting to break through, and there is an audience there for it. It's nowhere near as big as we'd like it to be. But certainly there is a big country music audience in the UK. We have a festival called Country to Country, which is like the biggest country music festival in Europe. That sells out every year. They do it in Glasgow, they do it in Dublin, and they do it in London, like arenas, over like a full weekend and stuff like that. So that sells out every year. I think it's just, to be honest, about people trying to understand what country pop music is. You say to like 9 out of 10 people in the UK about country music, and they'll just immediately think of like Dolly Parton and Glenn Campbell and people like that. And that's amazing. That is amazing country music, but it's not really how you would describe the charts of country music, at the moment. And I always think that people that don't like country pop music have never heard it before. That's the way I look at it. And I just think people in the UK would fall in love with like Sam Hunt and Thomas Rhett and Kelsey Ballery, Maren Morris, artists like that, if they were given more time over here. And fingers crossed. I'm trying my best.
No, I think it's you mentioned some great artists there. I'm a huge Sam Hunt fan. I think that I had the band Holiday State on last week, and they also talked about Rascal Flatts being one of their major influences as young artists coming up. And I think you saw a lot of gravitation towards them because they had a unique sound. They obviously had the harmonies going on. They were super handsome. You know, it kind of got it broke that old mold that you kind of talked about with people think about like Dolly Parton and Glenn Campbell and, you know, Johnny Cash and like the old school country. It's kind of got this look to it where like new country's got a completely different look to it. And but Sam Hunt is just a phenomenal, not only talent but writer. He writes songs for everybody. But
I feel like Sam Hunt's the benchmark, I think, for anyone trying to do country pop. You know, he's completely on his own level the whole time. And yeah, he's not afraid to try things that so many people have like been scared to try for such a number of years. Did I just cut off there? I'm back. Did I just cut off? Are we good?
Yep, you're good. You're good. But no, I think
Am I good? Yeah.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, Sam Hunt does things like he'll write a verse and he'll be like, "No, I'm just gonna say that. I'm not even gonna sing that part. I'm just gonna speak it, and it just sounds super cool." You're like, "How does he do that? How does he just?" I'm just like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna say this part, and everybody's gonna love it." But I think it's cool to hear that there is this this growing movement of artists in the UK to kind of not only help you out, but to establish that pop country sound. Where maybe it's still a little new, it's still a little undiscovered, and it helps propel your career not only in the UK, but you get some of these artists over there at these festivals, and maybe you rub elbows with a guy. You know, obviously you're doing some writing with some Nashville people. I think that presents opportunity for you and other artists over there to expand their reach and to hopefully, and I'm sure you have plans at some point to make it over here to the States and play some shows.
Yeah, definitely. Basically, I mean, what happened a few years ago when a couple of the UK artists started doing country, it was almost like they had to find the fine line between kind of country pop music and then the kind of folk aspect that people would still understand here. So they weren't able to kind of just go straight up, you know, Sam Hunt, Kelsey Ballerini, this really pop thing with some banjos in it, because it wouldn't have been cutting edge enough for like the top radio stations over here. And like the more folky radio stations, they wouldn't have really understood it unless they've been so tuned into what was happening in the States. So it's been a gradual thing. But you know, I'm so grateful for some of the UK artists that have been doing it over the past 5-6 years, because it's allowed us, as you said, to have festivals that just grow. And it gives UK artists an opportunity to be on these festivals with the American artists when they come over. Just to try and bridge that gap. And as you were saying there, as soon as we can do it, I'd love to be over and writing over there and playing some shows. And to be honest, like it doesn't really bother me too much about where exactly the shows are, just as long as it's country music fans. And I think that's something that lockdown's taught me as well. Like so much can be done from your bedroom. So many people can be reached from your bedroom. Obviously, I know it doesn't compare to live shows at all. That's not what I'm saying, but I've had just as much fun writing with guys on Zoom in Nashville as I would, I'm sure, you know, going over there and doing it. So, and that's kind of bigging up how good they are, you know, on Zoom. Like the quality of stuff that you can do, you know, over the internet now is just amazing. So, yeah, I will definitely make it over to the United States to play, and that will be a very exciting time.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to have you over here, man, and hopefully get you up in our neck of the woods to do some shows. And I know it's tough to gauge 2021 as what you can do, especially over there, you know, with your hopes and dreams of getting back out. I mean, like you said, it's been over a year since you played a live show. You had blonde hair back then. Apparently, you can't get to the barber to get the bleach job done again.
Do you know what? I could have had that done again in December, right? But it costs so much to maintain it. And if I'm sitting in the house, there's no point. Right. So it's not even so much that I couldn't get it done. It's the cost to sit in the house with it.
Yeah, just sitting by myself with this really nice hair. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. No, I get it.
Nah, no point.
But I know it's tough to look at the 2021 as a year of a lot of opportunity, especially when it comes to touring and getting out and doing stuff. But you've obviously had a lot of time to write. You got the great new single out. You had music out before that. Like, do you have like a tentative plan for the year? I mean, are we talking about is there an album in the works? Is it? I know in one of your interviews I was reading that you talked about this song is a big evolution into kind of growing into a new sound and kind of how you want to be as an artist. So maybe some of the other stuff isn't quite like in a year you're going to be like, man, I'm not really sure if this is something I would put on an album. But what are your when you look at 2021? What do you see as your goal for the year? Let's say there are some shows towards the end. I know that's going to be a goal, but like musically getting more stuff out. What is your plan for 2021?
Yeah, I mean, I never like to put proper set plans on stuff. I think just because of how unpredictable the music business is at the best of times, never mind during a pandemic. But I just don't want to rest on things. Like, we've built up so much momentum, particularly over the last few months, and I've got another track. We've actually done a piano version of Seeing Things.
Nice.
So we're actually going to put that out really, really soon. I've not actually announced that yet, so I've just announced that there. So we're going to put that out. We have a bunch of new singles ready to go as well. Hopefully before the summer as well. So we're just piling out music. And to be honest, man, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you, my ultimate ambition is to get a record contract. But that's only going to come if I keep working hard and putting out the best music that I possibly can, and with a lot of luck as well. So that's the kind of ultimate ambition, just be the most successful music artist that I possibly can be. But the short-term ambition is just to keep piling stuff out right now. Don't let it sit. I think a lot of artists make that mistake as well. They can put out one single and then sort of wait 6, 7, 8 months. And I know it is difficult, I really do. But you need to just try and stay as relevant as possible, and just if you've got the songs there, you can always write other ones. Just get them out. You're better with people just hearing what you've got.
I think, and I think that's a great mentality to have, because I think we are, and you've embraced obviously the social media aspect of it and the technology aspect of it, but we live in a time where it doesn't have to be the old way doesn't have to be how it is. It doesn't have to be write a 10-track album, put that album out, go to shows behind it. I think people are becoming more accepting of, like, hey, what's super cool is that Kevin McGuire dropped a song a month ago, and then in another week he's gonna drop another song, and now I got 2 songs. And I think you have the ability to do that, because the last time I listened to a full album all the way through, I think it was, I couldn't tell you. It was probably the Offspring Smash from like 1986 or 1996. It's been a minute since I'm like, that's a first song to last song album. There's probably some Garth stuff in there too. I was a big Garth guy, and a lot of his stuff resonated with me. So, but to have like putting your best work out, and instead of sitting on it and holding it and petting it for a while and waiting for the right time, you're just like, here you go, world. Here you go. Enjoy my stuff. So I think you're doing it great. And I think this is, you're definitely taking advantage of the opportunities that are out there for you right now, and learning stuff, man. I think it's fantastic what you're doing. I'm super glad that I got a chance to chat with you and to
thanks very much.
Hear your story, man. And man, I want to just, I was in radio for 20 years. Like, I want to send all my old radio people, like, here you go. Like, here's a little wave file. Why don't you go check this dude out? So maybe
please do it. Please send it to anyone that you wish to send it to, honestly.
Yeah, man, I'll do what I can to help facilitate that stuff. The song is Seeing Things. It's available now on all streaming platforms. The video is out. Everybody go follow Kevin on Instagram. He's doing great stuff on there, and your Facebook too. And dude, just keep hammering it, man. You're doing better than anybody else is doing, given the current the situation that you're over there in Scotland. So, way to keep after it, man. It's inspiring.
Thanks, man. Very much appreciated.
Awesome. Take care of yourself. Let's get you back on here soon. Maybe when that next single drops.
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
Awesome. Kevin McGuire.
Thanks so much for having me.
Anytime, my friend. Anytime. All the way from Scotland, Kevin McGuire. Seeing Things. Go listen to that song. Do it right now. Okay. Do it after the show. No, do it right now. Okay. Do it after the show. Seeing Things. Kevin McGuire. We got people jumping into the comments here. Jessica wants to see him play at Arizona's Country Thunder. There you go. Arizona's beautiful, Kevin. It's beautiful. It's like 7,000 degrees during the summer. We got a couple of country festivals up here. I know a couple of them. Joe's giving the thumbs up. No, I love it. Kevin McGuire. I think it's Kevin McGuire Music on Instagram. So go and give him a follow. We have about 5 minutes. Going to be joined by Ty Oliver, Powerman 5000, and the mind behind Ray Gun Romance. So we're going to talk to him in just a couple of minutes. So stand by. We'll take a short break. Be back with Ty Oliver on Cooperville Live. Stand by. And we're back on Cooperville Live. Thank you for hanging out and tuning in wherever you're watching. Thank you for watching. Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch. We're all over the place. And keep the comments coming. They're great. Great to see people interacting. Thanks to Kevin McGuire for being a part of it as well over there in Scotland. Sorry, it's really tough for me not to do like a Scottish Irish accent. It randomly just comes up in normal conversation. So not to do it when Kevin was on was challenging. But I think I held my own. I called him lad once, a wee lad, but I think I did it my best not to bust into my really bad Scottish/Irish accent. So check out his music, Seeing Things. His new song is out now. The video is out as well, so go and check that out. And hopefully he makes his way over here to the States sometime soon. Ty Oliver from Powerman 5000 and Ray Gun Romance going to be joining us here in just a bit. But my buddy Fef, Bowling with the Fef on YouTube. Go follow Bowling with the Fef. We were talking about albums we listened to all the way through with Kevin McGuire, and I was like, man, I think it was Smash, Offspring Smash. So Fef says, I never listened to Smash all the way through, but Ixnay on the Ombre, different story. Used to listen to that one more times than I could count. Ixnay was a good one too. There was a lot of albums though. Back in the 90s, it seemed like I mentioned this to many of my guests on here when they talk about like the 90s sound. I mean, Appetite for Destruction, obviously, from GNR, the Nevermind album from Nirvana, or In Utero. In Utero, I listened to a lot of In Utero, Soundgarden, STP, Pink Purple. A lot of albums, though. It's different now. I think just the way that music is presented in I'm Amazon Music guy, so I just go in and I just like find a genre, or I find a band, and then who else do you like, or Spotify, and you put in an artist, and it just kind of takes you on this trip. So like listening to an album front to back I haven't done that in forever. And I was in radio for a long time, but it was always song by song, artist by artist, but never full album. I can't remember if Smash, I'm going to say, was the last one. There has been some Garth stuff. I did mention that too, but like original Garth, like Rope in the Wind, maybe the self-titled album, In Pieces, like that stuff. And then he came out with like the box set, and you listen to like everything all over again. Some genius marketing. But if you have an album that you, the last album you remember listening to, first song to last song, whether that was a CD or a cassette, vinyl's making a comeback. Maybe it's vinyl's probably a little more, maybe that's coming back as a trend because vinyl is so difficult to find the next song. So maybe you have to listen to it all the way through. But what's like the last album that you listened to, first song to last song? I'm gonna go with Smash. Fef, you probably got another one out there. Ixnay and the Ombre, another great Offspring album, but it's been a while. So if you have an album that you've listened to front to back, one artist, first song to last, don't give me a soundtrack either. Like the soundtrack to Judgment Night, which by the way is fantastic. And I did listen to that front to back when that came out in the 90s. Mostly because House of Pain was in the movie. I think that's why I got it. House of Pain and Biohazard did a song together. Just Another Victim. So there was one soundtrack. But it's tough to find an album that you listen to all the way through, at least lately. I feel like it. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know I'm wrong. Comment in the comment sections. Let me know, like, hey, I listen to albums all the way through all the time. Try it. See what happens. Ty Oliver going to be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. Now he jumped on early, and then I was like, I think you're in like an hour, and then he'll be back on here in just a couple of minutes. But as I say it, boom, boom. But if you can think of one, if you can think of an album that you remember listening to first song to last song, it's like music doesn't come out that way anymore. It's weird. Used to, back in my day, not to age myself, we had to listen to the whole album front to back because it was too hard to find the needle where it went on the vinyl. Of course, that's making a comeback too. So what do I know? I see Ty Oliver is here. He is in the green room, and he is now on Cooperville Live. Ty, good to see you, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, man. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to have you and talk about all the things you got going on. You've been like one of the busier dudes during this whole pandemic thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing a lot of home studio creative stuff, um, and finally I'm able to like start releasing some of it. So yeah, it's been a work in progress for a while, and I'm finally able to get some of it out. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, Ray Gun Romance. I know you got a new song coming out, Only Down, that drops on April 2nd. You've released some music from that already. Tell me about this project. I love it. I love the description from the mind behind Ray Gun Romance. So tell me about this. Tell me about this project because I love it. It's like everything. It's got different flavors, different bites, different visuals. I mean, it's got a whole bunch of awesomeness all balled up into one thing. Tell me about this project.
Wow, thanks, man. Yeah, it's something that I started a couple years ago, and it was just my creative, you know, outlet, so to speak. But when I first started it, it was a collaboration between myself and a vocalist named Natalie,
Mm.
and we released the 6 songs that I had at the time, and then she went back to doing her own solo stuff. But I kept going with it. I mean, I kept writing music, and but I was kind of like, well, now what am I going to do? Who's going to sing on it? I guess I'll just have guest vocalists or something. And like,
Mm.
so I kept writing, and I was basically chasing around people to sing on it, and I wasn't really having a whole lot of luck. I mean, I have a couple things coming out that have some guest vocals, but finally around the beginning of this year, I was just like, out of necessity, I was like, screw it. I'll just try singing on something. I never intended to sing on it. Because I'd only ever done like karaoke, and so anyways, I just sort of like took a shot at it, and I was like, wow, I think this could actually work out. And so yeah, I just put out that cover song, Naked, and I'm about to release an original, Only Down, on the 2nd. So it's taken an evolution. It's gone from having a different singer on it to now I'm doing the vocals, and writing it and producing it, and the whole thing. So I feel like it's finally taking the form it was meant to have, I guess. So
Mm.
but yeah, man, I'm really excited about it. It's just this, my creative baby, man. Yeah, it's the best way to put it.
How big of a step is that to step into that lead vocalist role? Obviously you've had a tremendous career doing a bunch of different things. Obviously with Powerman 5000, and then this project being kind of producer, behind the scenes. You have a vocalist that comes in. So how big of a step was that for you? You talked about I sang karaoke and now I'm fronting my own project. Like how big of a transition was it for you to go, all right, I'm just going to do this myself and have complete creative control?
Huge. I mean, it's like
Mm.
game changing, because I absolutely 100% never, ever, ever was like, oh, I'm going to sing someday. No way. Or write lyrics. No way. I've just played guitar, programmed, and done, some keyboard stuff. So writing music, that's one thing, but all of a sudden doing vocals on something, and having it not be, well, hopefully not shit, is huge, man. It feels like a whole, I feel like this new chapter in my musical life has just suddenly opened, and like I was not expecting it at all. So it's really cool. It's awesome. Yeah,
And the sound
it's
is
been a lot of
awesome.
fun. Yeah.
The sound is awesome too. I mean, I love your voice, and I love the way that it really.
Wow.
I
Thanks, man.
talked about the ball of awesomeness. It's textured, it's layered, it's got like this, like you want to
Oh,
dance to
thanks.
it, yet it's got emotion to it. Like I think, does it feel like you've been expressive before? Obviously, being an artist in any genre and in playing an instrument, that's an expression. Obviously, I've seen you live with Powerman many times. That's an expression. There's a lot of
Oh, cool,
energy,
man.
there's stuff going on, but when you're like full on in it, like you are the writer, the voice, the music behind it. Like, does this, like you talked about opening up, does this feel like a floodgate of like true expression of who you are as a human, as an artist? Do you feel like I can't imagine the freedom that you feel with this project?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a whole different thing, and I'm very new
Mm.
to it. I like you said, I've played, playing live, and doing that whole thing with Power Man, or any band, and just doing guitar is awesome in itself. I mean,
Mm.
that's so fun, and but this is like a whole new thing. And yeah, I just finally feel like I'm just now putting the music or creating the music that I feel like I've always wanted to, I guess. And the singing thing is brand new. It's just, yeah, it's a really, really great feeling. It's very empowering. It's like, because now I can create and make things and finish them on my own time instead of having to like have an idea and then have to like chase somebody else around to sing on it because it's their priority. So now it's like, yeah, I've got the power is in my hands, so to speak, you know. So it's very exciting, man. It's great. Yeah.
So I kind of talked about the last year, and you've been obviously busy at work doing a lot of things, but there's obviously, I'm sure, been challenges, things that you miss about, I don't know, life in general, like going to do stuff. Like what has been the thing that you miss the most over the last, the course of the last year, being in the current state of things that we are in?
Yeah, man, it's well, obviously, getting to get out there and play live and do the touring thing is a huge bummer. I mean, for everybody, and all the bands and crew and people that don't get to do that. And yeah, just having things be closed and not being able to just kind of go out and be social, like whenever you feel like it is it's a bummer, man. And just everybody masked up and being and arguing about it and just sort of that vibe that's going around is it's a bummer, but I fortunately have had, my girlfriend's been awesome in keeping me company, and I've been able to stay creative and I get out there and ride a mountain bike, and I kind of just stay in my own little bubble, but I miss the touring thing, obviously, and yeah, just getting to go out and be social with people. Like you feel like well, I mean, you can't. Most places are closed here in California, but
Yeah.
so yeah, it's been tough, man. It's everybody's struggling, man.
Do you find that because you have that creative side, because you have the ability to create, and I know that it is as time consuming as it is, it doesn't fill the 24 hours in a day. It doesn't fill some of those times you like to be out and be social. But do you feel that as an outlet to the things that that you're kind of bumming on, the fact that you can't go out and tour, you can't go out and be social, do the things that you'd like to do? Has that been a great release for you to be able to say, well, I have this, obviously the girlfriend, great, being able to get outside and exercise, great, but has this creative thing really been kind of the glue that's kind of held it all together?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the last couple of months. I mean, I know it's been a year now, but it absolutely has. Especially the last couple months, because I've been like really, really, really busy behind the scenes, like making videos and editing and recording and mixing and doing the whole thing. So that's, especially the last couple of months, has kept me very occupied, and like to where I mean, I will fill up an entire day just doing what all kinds of little tweaks. But yeah, over the past year, I mean, there were definitely periods of time where, I mean, I don't have a schedule right now. I'm not working. I got laid off, and so I would want to be creative, and I just would hit like a block. I just nothing was coming out, and I'm like, I have all this time and I can't be creative. Like, this is so frustrating, and that would be very discouraging. But I just kind of, it would come and go in waves, and I would get inspired, and and then I would get super sucked into it, and I would love that, because then I will just put I'll just lose myself in that for an entire days, and finish an idea. That is absolutely an outlet that helps me get through, these times. Absolutely, 100%. Yep, totally, man.
We had a great conversation going on in some of the comments on the live stream, as we were talking about how the way music is released now, and obviously you're a prime example of that. You released the cover, and you have a new song coming out, and you're doing this in kind of the way that things are done now. You're feeding the audience at your leisure. You have the song, you want to get it out to people. People were reminiscing in the comment sections about the last time that they went front to back with a full album, one artist, and listened to the whole thing through. And people were struggling with that. Some guy was like, Ixnay on the Ombre, I think was the last time I listened to a record all the way through. I'm like, well, at least it was a good one. I mean, it was Offspring from back in the 90s.
Yeah.
But do you,
Offspring, yep. Yep.
Do you remember the last time you listened to? I mean, obviously you're deep into your own stuff, but do you remember the last time you listened to a record all the way through?
Yeah, I will do that. I mean, it absolutely is that's like a dying art. You know, the way that whole concept is definitely, it seems to be dying. But yeah, I mean, I do it, you know, especially with, if I want, I will pick out, you know, I just know an album I want to hear, and I might listen to it on YouTube, but like it's a playlist and it's the whole album, and I will just listen to the whole thing, or on Spotify or whatever. But I do that. Yeah, I still do that, of course. Yeah, especially when I specifically know, hey, I want to hear that album, you know. But I'm also guilty of, you know, doing a song here and then skipping over to something else, and you know, so. But I do listen to full albums still. Yes.
Yeah. I was bringing it up. I thought, you know, maybe with the revitalization of the vinyl world, that maybe that comes back around, because it's so hard to find the next song on a record. Like,
right,
I was
right,
let the whole thing fucking play. Just let it play all the way through. I don't have time to find the dead spot in the album. Maybe that'll be it.
Yeah, I think it's cool that vinyl has had this sort of resurgence, you know, and is something that people are digging on. I think that's great. You know, that absolutely. I hope people are listening to the whole thing. You know.
Yeah, I think it brings it keeps alive that I don't want to say mom and pop necessarily, but kind of that record store place that you could, like an actual brick and mortar building that you could go into when you can go into them, and you can go through and that smell of the plastic that goes around the album itself, and you can search through. You know, you hope that the revitalization of it, and I see bands that are still doing albums, they're coming out with like limited pressings of vinyl, and you hope that keeps that because that old eclectic record store, like, you know, record store day, going with your buddies down to scan through the new releases and then scan through like the bargain bin, like that needs to be kept alive. That's true Americana.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, that was one of my things is I used to just spend. I would just love it. I would go into, you know, a used music store, and I would just go to the bargain section of the CDs, and I would just sit there and like look for buried treasure. I would spend hours in there, just like, oh man, I'd walk out with a stack, and I'd be like, look at all these cool CDs I got, and it's only like $10, you know, like I loved it, man. Yeah.
That was after they took that plastic that you could never get off of the when you had to go in to get that plastic off.
Oh yeah.
Releases.
Yep.
Get like 4 different kinds of
God
tools.
damn it.
Cut a finger. You're like, yeah. I got scars from that stuff. I think I have one on my wrist. From a cassette tape. Remember cassette tapes used to come in like those big, long plastic things?
Yep.
Like trying to cut that off.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. That's funny. And then, then there was the CD long boxes and like, man. Yep. Old school. Yeah.
When you had to walk into a store and talk to other people, it was crazy times, like the Wild West. It was back in the day.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. It's crazy that's just sort of like just gone for the most part. I mean, it's still around here and there, but it's largely just not a thing anymore. It's crazy. Yeah.
So when you look at 2021, obviously you got new music coming out and still working on your project. Like, what are you most hopeful for in the year? I mean, obviously there's some talk about places like California starting to loosen some restrictions. They're dabbling in there could be some shows. So there's a lot of hope, I think, on the horizon. But what are you looking most forward to in 2021, and namely after the date when they, you know, let the dogs out of the cage and we can all go run amok again?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I would just love to see things go back to normal, you know? I don't want to, I just want it to go back to normal, man. I mean, and obviously, you know, it'd be great to be able to go and play shows again. But I mean, just in a larger sense, I would just love to see everything just go back to normal. No more freaking out about getting sick, and just go back to normal. No more restrictions, just normal. You know, how it was before everything got all weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think you have to have hope that we've learned a lot over the course of a year. hopefully we've learned about a lot about each other. We've learned a lot about how things can be taken away. I've always said that, like, I'm not sure if anybody's ever
Yeah.
missing a show again, because you used to always have those shows that would come through town and you're like, well, it's a Thursday. I got to get up early.
Like, yeah, I'm not going to go.
Now
Yeah.
there's no excuse now. They can take that shit away. There's no excuse to miss a show. So you hope people not only go back to normal, but go back to, like, hey, if your buddy calls and he's in town, or if he's out, hey, I'm going to go and go hike the mountain today. And you're like, not really. Like, people need to go and take advantage of stuff, because we've missed a lot. No, I think we lost time.
Yeah. No, you're totally right, man. Yeah, I think uh-oh. Did you lose me?
No, I think I still got you.
I can still see you, hear you, but anyhow, okay. I think you're right that hopefully people won't take, certain freedoms for granted. And once we are able to get back out there and do the things we like to do, that a new enthusiasm for it, or fresh enthusiasm. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there needs to be a revitalization of enjoying life and enjoying all the things. You're still here. I can still see you, and I can still hear you.
Oh,
so you're good. But I think there needs to be a definite embrace life to its core. Yeah, you're here. But embracing life as much as you can, I think, is going to be the most important thing, that people get out, go see a show, go interact with your friends, go interact with your family, go and see things, explore things, because when you realize that things can be taken away and things can be shut down, you will embrace them and you will enjoy them, I think, 10 times more once they are available to go and do.
Yeah. No, I think people will be, especially right at first, I think people are going to be like, all right, man, they're psyched. They're like, let out of the cage finally, so to speak. And hopefully people, remember that, hey, this, like, just like you said, this can be taken away, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Ty, I want to say thank you for the time and for the conversation. I'm super excited for Ray Gun Romance, man. I think it's, like I said, I think it's fantastic.
Thanks, dude.
It's super cool.
Oh man, thank you.
Have you being in complete creative control of this project, then gives it its epicness, and I can't wait for Only Down to come out,
man.
Second. So everybody go follow Ray Gun Romance. You're on the social medias. I know you're on Instagram and you're on Facebook. So a lot of great music coming out.
Yeah.
I'm super glad that you got a chance.
Yeah, do you think?
Go ahead.
Oops. Dude, thank you. I appreciate you having me on here and checking out the new thing, Ray Gun Romance, and giving it a shout out, man. I really appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much.
No, man, looking forward to more of it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, seeing you at a live show sometime soon. I know that's everybody's getting the itch, not just the bands. The fans they're clawing at the walls, man. They're ready to get into a live show.
Yeah, me too, man. I want to go to one. Yeah.
Some music. Ty Oliver, Ray Gun Romance. Congratulations on the release, and really looking forward to seeing you sometime soon, my friend.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me, dude. Cheers. Have a good one.
You too. Ty Oliver right there. Ray Gun Romance is the group. It is go check it out. Like I said, it's a ball full of awesomeness that will put a smile on your face. And Ty's, again, being the man behind it, creative control, like, that's the happy place right there. That's a happy place amongst all the craziness going on, especially out there in California. Been a great show today. Thank you to my guests. Like I said, just mentioned Ty Oliver on the program. Kevin McGuire, go check him out. Kevin McGuire Music on Instagram. Follow him, follow his career as he hopefully someday makes his way over here to the States and plays a live show for us. Coming up tomorrow on the program, for those of you who are tuned in, we have the one and only Michael DePizzo from Sunflower Dead. They have new stuff coming up. They got some touring coming up. Dude's fantastic. I interviewed him several years ago. They had just done a song with Jonathan Davis of Korn. There's an accordion in the band. It's fucking awesome. So Michael's going to be on the program tomorrow. We'll talk about a whole bunch of stuff. And then don't forget Thursday, Plush. The ladies of Plush are going to be on. They got a new song called Hate, and we'll talk to them about that. And all girl group, and they kick ass. For real. Check them out. Plush. So a big couple of shows coming up in the next couple of days. I want to say thank you for tuning in on whatever platform you were on, Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch. And don't forget to join the Patreon. Really appreciate it. Until we meet again tomorrow, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Bye-bye.